Emotional availability is the ability to respond with attention, honesty, and care. Common case. A person listens when feelings are difficult instead of disappearing. Presence is more than physical closeness. Unavailability can look calm on the surface. Example. They talk about plans but dodge vulnerability. Distance can hide behind politeness. Here, warmth during easy moments disappearing during serious talks shows why guardedness, inconsistency, vulnerability, avoidance, and repair matter more than a vague summary. A familiar case is they talk about plans but dodge vulnerability. The main lever is fear of dependence. Closeness may feel like losing control or being trapped. Common case. A partner pulls away after intimacy increases. Protection can look like disinterest. Behavior, fear, and communication need to be separated before reacting. Busy lives can mask avoidance. Work, hobbies, and constant obligations can keep feelings away. Seen when someone always has a reason conversations must wait. Availability requires time and willingness. Read the situation through evidence. Watch consistency, emotional response, accountability, and willingness to discuss difficult feelings. Warmth followed by distance creates emotional whiplash. In practice, a great weekend is followed by cold replies. Unpredictability keeps hope alive. Looking at inconsistency confuses partners shows what happened earlier, which makes the next choice clearer and less emotional. In a normal case, watch consistency, emotional response, accountability, and willingness to discuss difficult feelings. Think of support disappears during stress. Availability is measured under pressure. Put simply, emotional availability is shown through consistent presence, not occasional affection alone. This starts with past hurt can contribute. Betrayal, neglect, or loss may teach people to keep walls high. Real case. Opening up once and being shamed can shape future defense. History explains but does not excuse. The aim is not flawless control, it is noticing the pattern before it runs the day. Emotionally unavailable people may still want love. The problem is not always lack of feeling. Desire and capacity are different. Someone can care deeply and still shut down during stress, avoid hard conversations, or disappear when repair is needed. That is why behavior matters more than promises. The pattern becomes clearest when closeness requires presence, honesty, and follow-through, not just affection in easy moments. Partners often overfunction sets up the whole situation. One person may try harder, explain more, and wait longer. Example. They become the emotional engine of the relationship. Mixed signals are costly. Small affection keeps the bond alive while avoidance blocks security. Version. A partner receives just enough hope to stay uncertain. Ambiguity can become addictive. What makes the issue practical is consistency between care, presence, and hard conversations, not memorizing terminology. Healthy boundaries are needed. Compassion should not become endless waiting. Concrete case. You can understand someone and still require consistency. Care must include self-protection. Facts that can be checked. Watch consistency, emotional response, accountability, and willingness to discuss difficult feelings. Ask what kind of relationship they can actually participate in. In practice, avoid debating potential and focus on current behavior. The deeper mechanism becomes clearer. Consistency between care, presence, and hard conversations rather than vague advice. The moment is easier to read when surface calm is treated as evidence, not background noise. The clearest clue may be missed repair, not the dramatic result that appears later. Capacity can grow makes the topic concrete. People can become more available with reflection, practice, and accountability. Common case. Naming feelings instead of disappearing is a small repair. Change requires repeated behavior. Becomes a clear next move. The easiest mistake is to ignore avoided vulnerability because it looks minor until hard conversations makes the cost visible. The most useful evidence is often ordinary, hard conversations, avoided vulnerability, and whether the same signal appears again. If every request for closeness becomes too much, the pattern matters. Picture. Constant avoidance is information. Believe patterns more than promises. What looks like a personal flaw may simply be missed repair interacting with emotional presence. Everyone fails sometimes. Available partners return and address impact can decide whether the situation stays manageable or becomes expensive. Version. Saying, "I shut down earlier, and I want to talk now," can rebuild trust. A familiar case is saying, "I shut down earlier, and I want to talk now," can rebuild trust. The small detail to notice is hard conversations, especially when avoided vulnerability is happening at the same time. Case. Chasing distance can repeat old wounds. Your pattern matters too. Look at the proof first. Watch consistency, emotional response, accountability, and willingness to discuss difficult feelings. The pressure is visible when chasing distance can repeat old wounds. Emotional unavailability becomes clearer when affection is compared with availability during discomfort. When inconsistent affection changes, people often adjust around it before they fully understand why they feel pressure. Emotional presence is tested when a partner says they are hurt and the other person has to listen without escaping into jokes, silence, or blame. Secure love feels steadier. Case. Consistent care can feel unfamiliar at first. Calm can be healthy. What can be verified? Watch consistency, emotional response, accountability, and willingness to discuss difficult feelings. The confusing part is that the unavailable person may still care, but caring does not always turn into emotional presence. An early response works better when it is aimed at emotional presence rather than a vague feeling that something is wrong. A relationship becomes more secure when difficult conversations end with repair instead of disappearance. The question is not whether they are evil or broken matters because it changes what happens next. The question is whether they can show up consistently enough for the relationship they are asking someone else to stay in. A daily version is a healthy relationship needs care that can show up, speak honestly, and repair. In a relationship, that difference matters because occasional affection cannot replace the ability to return, listen, and repair after emotional strain. A person can be affectionate during easy moments and still disappear when accountability or vulnerability appears. Emotional unavailability can look like calmness, independence, or busyness from the outside. Inside the relationship, it often feels like warmth appears during easy moments and disappears when vulnerability or accountability is needed. One concrete marker is surface calm. It shows whether the issue is already shaping behavior rather than staying theoretical. The pattern is not about demanding constant intensity. It is about whether care stays available when the topic becomes uncomfortable. Emotional unavailability is not proven by one quiet day. It shows in the pattern. Affection may appear when things are easy, then disappear when honesty, accountability, or vulnerability is needed. Emotional unavailability is measured in difficult moments, not easy ones. Trust grows when affection is matched by follow-through during difficult moments. Someone may be pleasant, generous, or charming and still struggle to stay present when feelings become honest. Pay attention to avoided vulnerability, because it often appears before the larger problem has a clear name. The clearest question is not whether someone has feelings. It is whether they can stay present with those feelings when connection requires a real conversation. In practical terms, emotional unavailability is inconsistency or avoidance when deeper closeness is needed, so the safest reading comes from the actual behavior, numbers, documents, or choices in front of you. Warmth matters, but the stronger test is whether someone can stay present for accountability, vulnerability, repair, and honest conversation. The pattern becomes clearer when words of care are compared with presence during hard conversations.